She is a financial planner and advisor.
She's the founder and president of Zinnia Wealth Management. She's also a popular radio show host.
There's a way to have your money in the market and have protected growth.
This holistic approach will help people get to and through retirement.
Absolutely.
You have to change the way that you think. It's not about having these double-digit returns anymore. Things are changing, and you have to have an advisor that's keeping up with the changes.
Your outcome is going to become very desirable if you have some sort of coach helping you along the way.
And our next recipient for the Media and Communications XP, Charisse
Rivers.
Do not have to risk all your money in the market to survive, because it's about the retirement dream.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Retirement Coffee Talks Facebook Live every Wednesday at 3:30. I am your host, Charisse Rivers, and I am the financial strategist and CEO of Zinnia Wealth Management. So today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. This is stock market update, what's going on there, the election, and there you go. And a little bit more Donald Trump talk now that he's feeling better. And our pregame for what we're going to teach you today is different ways to monitor your credit, because right now monitoring your credit is so important because there's so many scams. Anytime things happen like we've seen with COVID, this is the time scammers start to come out. And so we want to help you find places that are free, some services that are low cost, and some other options that you already have, you don't even know, to monitor your credit probably on a monthly basis for the next 12 months. And then we're going to talk about renter's insurance if you're renting, some of the rules that you need to follow there. So, all right, so let's get started. So the stock market is looking a little bit better today. Lots of good news with possible stimulus. Let's talk about what Donald Trump said today. Here's a tweet from him. It says, if I am sent the standalone bill for the stimulus, he's basically saying we're sending out $1,200 in checks immediately to people who need it. And so just that alone really popped up the market. Just the fact that Donald Trump is feeling better popped up the market. And so now the Dow Jones and NASDAQ and S&P 500, everything seems to be up, but it was down earlier this week. So let me show you a chart really quickly on something that you all have access to. It's on Yahoo Finance. You can just go to yahoofinance.com and type in this, and then you put in the S&P 500. But what I really want to show you here is this blue line that you see, how it's going here, and then it goes down, and it comes up. This is the last year to date. So since January 1st, this blue line is what the S&P 500 has done, and the purple line is what, right underneath it, is what the Dow Jones has done. So the first thing I want to teach you here today is we were doing pretty good up until February. You guys can see here, this was kind of the height, if you guys can see this. We took a huge back down between the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, and you can see a lot of people said, wow, the stock market really has grown, it's done really well, why am I not making those gains? And the reason why you're not making these gains is because you have to make up the gains that you lost first, right? So you come down, and basically right here, September was your break-even point. So when you go from this high point to this high point, technically this is your break-even point. But if you've been following me long enough, you know you have to make a little bit more to break even. And then here we go in September, wobble bobble in the stock market. Here is the market started creeping up here. Then this is when we hear Donald Trump get sick, and then it comes down. And look, and this is what's happening over the last 2 days. So you can see we've had some growth over the last 2 days. So these are cool charts that you can do on your own at home, really efficient and easy if you're curious what's going on. If you have a financial advisor that is saying, hey, over the last 6 months, our clients made 30%. Well, if you go back 6 months, that's because they've just lied to you, and their clients probably lost 30% before they made 30%. So you can see if they go back only 6 months, you can see they're starting at a low number, and that's not fair. Okay, everybody made that kind of money moving forward. So I just want people to be very aware of what, when you're sitting down with financial advisors and try to figure out what you're doing with your plan, that somebody's not putting the wool over your face, because that one's easy to do. So I hope that helped what's going on in the stock market. I'll do this from time to time so you can kind of see what's going on. I'll add more in. So this is our first take at it. All right, so that's what's dragging the market. So S&P's up, Dow's up, everything's up. Here's another tweet from Donald Trump. So there was more stimulus that they're proposing. They just need some people to sign off on the deal. Basically, his tweet says the House and Senate should immediately approve a $25 billion deal for airline payroll support, $135 billion for paycheck protection programs for small businesses. So this is a really positive thing. If this does get pushed through, which I have a feeling it is, this is going to probably pop up the market a little bit more. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but based on what we've seen all year round, it will probably help, certainly. I know a lot of people got nervous because Donald Trump said he wasn't going to pass any stimulus, and then that night he changed his mind. Welcome to Donald Trump's world. So that's what's going on there. Let's look at the Apple stock right now. So you can see what the Apple stock is doing. Apple, it didn't split. It's been bobbly the whole time, but it's really made its way back up. So it's looking positive moving forward. So I like to talk about one of the big national Apple stocks. If you look at the Lockheed Martin is local to Central and North Florida. We have one right here in Ocala, Florida. And you can see that it's done really well year to date. It's just slowly kind of gone up. It's recently had a little peak down, but as we know, Lockheed Martin is a company that somehow weathers the storms over and over and over again. So two companies I am a big fan of. I'm not telling you to go buy it. I'm basically saying if you have it, it's probably good to hold, depending on your age and what your timeline is and what you're trying to do. Remember, my job is to educate you first and foremost, inspire you, and get you to retirement and beyond. That is the primary goal here. And if you ever need anything, you want to schedule a conference call, this is our website, zinniawealth.com. This little blue tab says schedule a complimentary retirement review. You'll get a 15-minute call. We'll chit-chat, kind of get to know you and see if we can help you out at all right at zinniawealth.com. So feel free to do that if you have any questions and you have any worries about the election and the stock market. Yes. So clearly I'm a fan. Okay, so let's move forward. So let's talk about what Governor DeSantis said. Again, he is amazing. I am all for everything that he does. But basically, he has a tweet out here. Abbott Laboratories, we are now starting to get their kits, and we're getting high-speed testing. We're not getting enough, but they're saying about 6 million by end of year, which is fabulous. Because right now, when you go get testing, it takes 3 days to get your results back. And so we need faster testing. And this Abbott Lab box that you're going to be able to get at CVS and a lot of other places takes 5 minutes to get a real scan. So you don't have to do the swab and all that kind of stuff. So we're really super excited about it, and he's pushing to get it done. He also said the closure of schools was one of the biggest public health mistakes in modern history. He said children are not a vector of this disease. So he said he's glad he's kept them open. Now, let's also talk about Central Florida news. Unfortunately, across the United States, Regal Cinemas is closing down. We don't know if it's going to be for good, if they'll reopen, but I have a feeling they might not be reopening. So that's a sad state. And unfortunately, Disney World has laid off 28,000 people. So we're still seeing a lot of layoffs. Stock market still goes up. A lot of ripple effects happening in the stock market and lots of ebbs and flows. So make sure you have a plan. So no matter what happens after this election, you don't have to have a whole lot of worries and woes. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the Zinnia U, where we're going to start teaching you about what you need to do to protect your credit, because you all worked so hard to protect your credit, keep those scores up. You don't want somebody to start creating new cards in your name and spending money. You don't want that headache of somebody going out and getting a loan. So here's some tips that I'm going to give you. So let's start with the first one. We have Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those are the three crediting companies. They all show different things on the credit report. I recommend you check all three of them. All three of them is very, very important, because you could have two of them that are reporting the same thing and the third one not. And maybe that third one is where you actually see, oh, wow, there's a credit card in my name. I didn't open that credit card. Honey, did you? No, I didn't. And so to kind of raise awareness. So what I want to talk about are 3 places to be checking free to actually paid services. So the first one is you can monitor your credit report on your own. You can go to annualcreditreport.com. I actually do this annually. It's a great site. They give you everything you need to know when it comes to any cards open, any past history, anything you need to know there. I will say, though, you typically only get it free once a year, but since COVID, they actually allow you to check it once a week, and they're extending that all the way to April 2021, which is fabulous because I'm thinking you need to be checking this once a month just in case. So some good tips there, and it doesn't cost you anything to do so. You can see that there's a little red link there. All you have to do is, if you see the red link, you just click it and it prompts you to put some information in. It's legit. So if it asks you some personal information, this is what it looks like. So I wanted to show it to you guys. Okay, let's look at some other free credit monitoring services. So we have a chart up here. If you have a credit card like American Express, Chase, those types of companies, they typically will have different monitoring systems. And so you can see with American Express and Capital One and Chase, it's TransUnion. So you can always go to those websites and check that. You can also check your FICO score. So they give those to you for free, depending on which credit card you have. Discover also. Other free credit monitoring systems would be Credit Karma. So this one's a really popular one. I know Clark Howard, this is one of his favorite ones. But here's the problem. You can only check TransUnion and Equifax on here. So you can't track the experience. So that's why you want to use some of these other free sources to track experience. You need to track all three of them. What I like about Credit Karma is that you can set up alerts. It's going to alert you if something changes. If somebody put a credit card in your name, or if you did it, or you checked your credit, it's going to pop up and they'll send you alerts. So that's wonderful because you want a system that's going to send you alert. You can also see the site here. CreditWorks is also a good one, and Experian and Equifax. You can get credit reports and credit scores directly from Experian and Equifax online. And remember, if you're worried about your credit, you don't have time to do all this, you can go individually to Experian and Equifax, and you can go and turn off your credit. That means, though, if you go apply for Social Security, you have to go turn it back on to go apply. If you go get a credit card, you have to go back into those systems and turn it back on. So it can be a little bit of a headache, but it might be the easiest way if you just want out of sight, out of mind. And so that could be a great way to cover that. Let's talk about paid services. Paid services would be CreditWorks. It's a premium service, $24.95 every month. It's actually a great rate. There's some others that I like. I personally use transunion.com. I've been using it forever, so that's why I use it. But it's it's $5 more than CreditWorks, so they kind of all do the same thing. I'm just used to what I'm used to. You know what I mean? Now, the other one I would probably recommend. We said Credit Karma, CreditWorks, and go directly to Experian. So that's it. There's more, but they cost more money. But it will show you soup to nuts the total history of what you owe, what your debt to ratio is. So if you're trying to clean up your credit anyways to buy a home or something like that, you might as well just start checking this every month and just making sure you watch that credit score go. But we want to make sure first and foremost that the scams aren't getting you, because they are out there and I'm hearing horror stories about them right now. Okay, so that ends our credit monitoring. If you want more details on that, call me. I have so much to talk about when it comes to that. I'd like to keep this course very short and sweet and to the point, but we can definitely delve into that in the conversation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is renter's insurance. Somebody had asked recently, Charisse, should I get renter's insurance? I'm getting ready to buy a house, but I'm renting, and I highly recommend renter's insurance. If you are staying in an apartment complex, they require you to get it. If you're staying in a home and it's just a private landlord, they usually don't require you to get it, but I still highly recommend that you get it because you just never know what's going to happen to your stuff. You got TVs, you got all this stuff. Can you imagine it just disappearing because somebody stole all your stuff, or there was a fire and now you have to replace all that? Even though if you don't think there's a whole lot of value, it adds up from the blender to soup to nuts. You know that. So renter's insurance is really important. The average cost is between $15 and $30 a month for renter's insurance. It depends on the size of the home, the location, and the value of the items that you want covered. So for example, not everything's covered in renter's insurance. You actually have to buy some riders and beef it up a little bit if you want jewelry or art covered. So that's one thing you do have to do. They just basically cover the basic valuables. You definitely want to get replacement value coverage. This helps if you had a TV for 3 years and it was stolen. It helps with the depreciation amount. They give you a lump sum on the TV if that was the case. So let's say you bought a TV for $1,000 and then 3 years later, oh well, that TV is really only worth $400. With this extra coverage, you'll get $800. So the extra insurance is like pennies on the dollar. It's definitely worth it. I would highly recommend it. How much should you expect to pay? You guys got that? I haven't seen anything over $30 a month. So if it's over $30 a month, do some shopping. You can see up here, I have a little tag here. It tells you some companies and their premiums. This is based on Clark Howard's quotes. He says 3 policies based on $20,000 worth of personal property coverage, $100,000 in personal liability, and $1,000 in medical payments between $4,000 and $6,000 in loss and use of a townhome or rental. So you can see Allstate charges you $24 a month, Farmers charges you $23.19, and Lemonade charges you $11. So for me, I would go Lemonade. Why not go with the lowest one if they're all covering the same thing? So there you go. How much do you expect to pay? There's the averages. So like I said, $15 to $30. Who needs renter's insurance? Again, everybody. If you're renting, just get it. You want to make sure that you can replace everything without having to come out of pocket. If somebody's vandalized your house, tore it up, stolen things, couches, those things cost a lot of money. So again, I recommend it highly. And so I will say, providers, the best providers would be USAA. Only people who can go to USAA are people in the military, right, and their families. So not everybody's going to qualify. Auto Club of Southern California is a good one, and State Farm. So I'm a big fan of State Farm. State Farm covers a lot of other insurances. So if you're looking for umbrella insurance and you want to put in, your cars and other things, this might be a good place to bundle it all together. Sometimes you can get a discount. So I hope that helps you all for renter's insurance ideas. I want to talk about next our biggest travel spot. This is actually another one of my favorites. Has anybody ever been to Cocoa Beach? Love Cocoa Beach. You can kayak, you can boat, you can fish off the beach, you can surf. There's so much stuff to do. It's about 2.5 hours from Gainesville, 2 hours and 15 minutes from Ocala, and only an hour and 40, actually an hour and 30 from Orlando. So within driving distance, which is great, but there's so much to do there. I'm going to start with the number one. There's a gambling boat. So if you like to gamble, get on the gambling boat. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to get some free food while you're on there if you like that deal. The next place where I took my daughter was Kennedy Space Center. We got to learn all about how the astronauts do their thing, and they had some neat things that you could pay extra for to be more interactive. You can view Space Shuttle Atlantis there, which is really neat. And you can spend a whole day there. It's very fun. Lori Wilson Park, it's oceanfront spot where you can bird watch, kayak. That's where you're going to paddle board and do all that kind of stuff. You can actually picnic there, walk the dunes. There's so much to do there. You can spend days over in Cocoa Beach. And then you got the Space Coast Segway tours. I don't know if you've ever done a Segway. They are very fun. And if you don't feel like walking 2 to 4 hours, go with the Segway. I did that. And it's a whole nother world on the Segway. I've got to tell you, the experience changes. And then the restaurant of choice, I would choose Long Doggers Cocoa Beach. They have 39 cents pill and eat shrimp on Sundays by half pound or a full pound. I'm a big shrimp eater, so that is a good deal for me. And they're famous for their mahi-mahi sandwiches, aka dolphin. I know it's not dolphin, but it's kind of funny to say that. So that's our travel spot of the week. I hope you guys go out there and check it out if you haven't been there in a while, because there's so much to do there. Last but not least, our discount of the week. Okay, remember, we have Amazon's annual Prime 2020 day. It goes from October 13th to 14th. I missed it last year because I was working so much. So it's the Amazon's annual Prime Day. So you have to be a Prime member. So I'm a Prime member. So if you're not a Prime member, they do have a 30-day trial. So if you want to get involved, because they have some killer deals. They have 30% off smart light plugs, robotic vacuums, and more. I actually got into the deals. They're already having some of these deals now. 50% off 6 months of Kindle Unlimited. That's a deal. And TVs, $100 off and more. So I've been shopping already, but I'm waiting for the 13th and 14th to get the biggest deals. So again, if you're not a member, you can get a 30-day free trial, and then you can cancel it afterwards if you want, and you got to use the deal. So that's the deal of the day. Easy to go to their site and do that, or download the app on your phone. Again, you guys, if you have any questions, go to zinniawealth.com. click this blue link to schedule a conference call with me or one of my other advisors. Don't forget, when you go to the site, there's a little red book to retirement you can download. It's 37 pages and it's got a plethora of information that you're going to want to read about. And again, we'll see you next Wednesday here at 3:30. Live by design and not by default.
She is a financial planner and advisor.
She's the founder and president of Zinnia Wealth Management. She's also a popular radio show host.
There's a way to have your money in the market and have protected growth.
This holistic approach will help people get to and through retirement.
Absolutely.
You have to change the way that you think. It's not about having these double-digit returns anymore. Things are changing, and you have to have an advisor that's keeping up with the changes.
The outcome is going to become very desirable if you have some sort of coach helping you along the way.
And our next recipient from the Media and Communications XP, Charisse Rivers.
Charisse Rivers.
Do not have to risk all your money in the market to survive, because it's about the retirement dream.